All right. Today is gonna be probably not the nicest message for the world, I guess, but a lot of it just has to come down to like just cutting the shit. Just cut the shit. Thank you. The problem with the conservatives is that the ones at the tippy top, the talking heads especially, they're doing great. So why the hell would they ever want anything to change, ever? And this is not about socialism, communism, or anything like that. I'm talking about culturally. Goddamn. Big old bug hanging out of my mouth, or my nose looks like. Ugh. Huh. My skin drying up, all kinds of shit. But yeah, I've never understood. Like, I watched this. I don't know if people have ever seen Cyberpunk 2077, but it's or like Edge Runners. But yeah, these guys, everyone is so guarded in the show because everyone is so um, I guess selfish. But here's the problem I'm having with some of these words. Like, I don't know. I'm not right wing. I'm not left wing. I actually kind of despise religious right, and I kind of despise the woke left at this point. I think they're two sides of like a retarded fucking coin in this country that are trying to take over. I think that the right, to a certain extent, I'm not talking about conservatives. They want to control people just like everybody else, in my opinion. I don't know what to think about this whole good versus evil thing. I'm not very big on. I mean, I do a lot of black and white thinking, but I'm not. I'm aware of it when I'm doing it, at least. Like, you can't. That's a rabbit hole you don't want to go down. But at the same time, because of the Second Amendment, because of these arguments, I've been politically arguing with people my whole life, and listening to people's conversations and what they think about politics. Like, I grew up in a Democrat family. I mean, that's all they fucking talked about were politics and shit like that. But the thing is that they never ever talked about lowering taxes ever. They never thought like we should pay less taxes, and require that they spend the enormous amounts of money they're already getting and squandering, by the way, more wisely. We do not demand these things from people. This is what I'm trying to get at when it comes to this whole cut the shit theme. Is that, you know, it's like this whole thing with the homeless veterans, 22 veterans killing themselves every fucking day. I just don't see our society as a whole or at large giving a shit about much of any of these issues. And it's almost like people get their marching orders from the legacy media and these crazy, like, really stupid, dangerous politicians, to be quite frank. And I'm not talking about Trump, I'm talking about the left. Like, these fucking wingbat idiots are willing to burn the whole country down to the ground in order to get away with what they've been getting away with. And they're willing to use useful idiots, the dumbed down masses, to get their way. Now, I think that's the reason why this shit's going back and forth, too, is because the leftists are just going to make the entire nation as a whole miserable. They'll try to, anyway, as far as organizing and to protest and block roads and all this other stuff. And when they see stuff like with this crap with like Renee Good or this guy Pretty happen, they try to use these things to justify it. They're already looking for something. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even have to be perfect. They don't mind twisting the facts or lying about what they saw or any of that to like try to get things going. Like, my whole thing is that neither of these issues should have happened. But also, like, since when do civilians just get to take over the streets? When I was in Iraq, if Iraqis would have tried to do shit like that, It just wouldn't have happened. Let's just put it that way. They knew better. And here, it's almost like it kind of reminds me of Jesus when he died on the cross. Like, talks. They just don't know any better. And I think that's also a spot you got to be careful about going. A road you have to be careful about going down, because then you start going down that road of I know better. Which a lot of the times I can tell you right now I don't. Completely honest, like, I think I was born in not survival mode in this country, but America's not all that it's cracked up to be, and this whole thing about with the child molesters and the fucking pedophiles and everything else that's going on. When is anything ever going to get done about anything? And the answer is probably never. I mean, I'll tell you right now, I wanted to headbutt my grandpa to fucking death. I fantasized about it. Did I ever actually do anything? No. Now, if I would have had lower impulse control and he didn't get sick, and I didn't become a good person and join the military and wrestle in high school and college to kind of overcome all these obstacles, things could have went different. I could be in jail right now for murdering my grandfather, and a jury of my peers not believing that he did anything to me. But the thing is that he fucked with my brother too, so I would hope that my brother would tell the truth about that on the stand, even though the fact that my brother hates me. Because the thing is with having a narcissistic family and where everything revolves around your grandmother, it turns everybody else into a narcissist as well, to a certain extent. It's a phenomena, actually. A lot of people, it's learned behavior. And the problem with some narcissists too is that they're very intelligent and they know how to think strategically, which scares the shit out of me. That's why I fucking try to be as honest as I humanly can, because you would think that there's these sayings that you fucking become addicted to almost growing up or even live by, like the truth will set you free. In a world where people don't want to hear the truth, though, it can actually be a fucking huge hindrance. And it's hard living in a world that's there's another old saying that I really like. It's like, it's no measure of good health to be well adjusted to a fundamentally sick society. And I don't know when America took a fucking wrong turn. It probably was a long time ago, honestly, because a lot of things just take a long time to really take full effect. But, I mean, for example, like the Anslinger days when they first created welfare, and hey, do you have a man in the home? If you don't have a man in the home, you can get housing assistance. And, maybe that was part of the women's liberation movement, and I'm sure some women got away from some abusive men. But as I've dated enough women in this lifetime, and I've tried to nip the bullshit and the lies and stuff like that in the bud, so to speak, you will get accused of being an asshole, abusive, this, that, and the third. And they're, of course, perfect. But the thing is with women, I've never really ever gone after their... Like, you don't have to lie. There's plenty of fucking material you can go after. If all they give a shit about is their looks, be like, well, you ain't perfect. They say they can get any fucking guy they want. Like, that's not really how this world works. If you have a kid, there's going to be just a ton of guys already that they have standards. Women act like men don't have fucking standards, and they'll just fuck anything that moves because they have met men that will fuck anything that moves, or they'll just fuck anything that is willing to give it up to them. Because, generally when you see couples, most of the time you look at them and you're like, that makes sense. The guy's fat, his wife's fat. Every once in a while maybe the guy will be really fat and fucking probably the woman's out of his league, but maybe she's like really stupid and hot. You know what I mean? Like, that's just kind of how it works sometimes with some people. And honestly, I used to really value having intellectual conversations with women, And with my ex Sarah, I couldn't do it. With Dee Dee, I could. But then I think sometimes when there becomes this like there's like this competitiveness, and that's when people will start lying because they want to win. They don't want to actually argue their point or actually have a real debate or discussion. It's more about I'm right and here are the reasons why I'm right, and it doesn't have anything to do with understanding the other side at all. And I mean, I've tried to use the same logic on my brother. Like, he'll sit here and try to classify as me as this, that, and the third. And I'm like, but if I try to say anything, he'll tell me I don't have a degree. I'm like, John, you don't have a degree either. How the hell are you going to sit here? At least my reasoning is coming from, like, I've watched a lot of YouTube videos and I've read a lot of material concerning mental health. And it's like noticing patterns of behaviors where where you refuse to change, and it's kind of like they don't want, like, narcissists, a lot of the time when you fucking tell them something they're doing that's fucked up, they will either turn the table, like flip the table, not even address the subject that's being talked about, and then deflect onto something else. You'll notice this a lot with, I mean, honestly, every time you brought up anything that Biden never fucking did, they would just be like, but Trump, but Trump, but Trump. And I mean, it can be the same thing said the other way too, honestly, but I noticed that no matter what Biden ever did, as far as like molesting kids on C-SPAN, people don't even fucking ever want to address that. I'll bring it up every single fucking time, all day, every day. Joe Biden, I call him Joe the Pedo Biden. And I've been calling him that since, God, I don't even know how long. Since before when he was in the primaries, I believe, I started looking into him. Way back when. And, yeah, this was before Super Tuesday, any of that shit. I was pissed that anybody would even vote for him. Why is this guy not even... Why are we not doing anything about this guy in general? Because I'm like clearly seeing him giving like a fucking little girl a titty twister on C-SPAN, and just like kind of thinking to myself, like, am I the only fucking person seeing this? It's all over the internet. There's GIFs of it. Video. And just him acting creepy with every fucking little girl you can imagine. And I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, like, Nancy Pelosi just wants to say he's affectionate. Yeah, affectionate towards little girls, underage girls. And there's no pushback from the media. They don't ask her any follow-up questions. They just accept it right there for face value. They don't show any clips of him doing weird shit. Especially the most egregious one. I think I have it saved in my phone. And I've, been bitching and moaning about it. Nobody really takes any of it seriously or even cares. We're living in a very apathetic country and society at this point. And that's another thing that scares the dog shit out of me. It's like, we have people in our own families that don't give a fuck about each other, unfortunately. Like, I've tried to, like with my brother, for example, like, he can't be bothered to brush his own teeth. He can't fucking be bothered to shower. He can't be bothered to pick up any trash. Like, he literally just lives to make the world worse as far as like his localized environment. And then likes to just talk about bullshit, like video games, old shows, watching the same exact old shows over and over again. Like, people live in a fucking feedback loop. And it gets maddening because, like, dude, I have to have something new and fulfilling going on in my life. I haven't seen my kid in forever. And then he'll tell me some shit like that ship has sailed. Like, because he would just give up on his kid. If he ever had a kid, he would just give up. He wouldn't even fucking bother going to court or any of that kind of crap. He thinks that I shouldn't. That's what I get from that. And my problem is I take things so fucking personal. I get so fucking butthurt. And then I lash out. I think the worst part is like people I've legitimately despised. Like when I was in fucking Pennsylvania, it's like some people are willing to just fucking gator roll with your goddamn leg and not give a shit if your shit gets mangled. And that's because, they think that's just the name of the game. They've gotten their shit fucking mangled before because some guy just fucking went off and did it. And they're too fucking retarded socially and mentally to think like, oh, I'm just got full permission to go and injure people now. I can't roll with guys like that. I tap very early on with those guys that are competitive as far as going for like locks and stuff. because I understand how serious a knee injury can be, and I've had fucked up knees for a while. And so, like, when those types of people judge you, you're like, oh, you'll just let them have it. I'm like, dude, you're like a piece of shit leg locker who fucking literally tries to tear people's fucking shit apart. And I couldn't tap fast enough. Like, sometimes when people go for a leg and stuff, they'll just go straight to grip and rip. You know, like you're going with Polaris. And my problem, too, is, like, knowing who I am as a person, if you rip my knee apart, most likely it's going to be a fight. Like, I'm going to want to knock you unconscious and get a couple teeth missing from your face. I want to make sure that you look in the mirror and remember, like, hey, I got his leg, but he got my goddamn face. It doesn't look the same. That's what I want if that happens. And so you got to leave. I feel like you got to leave environments like that, because if that does happen, if someone does fucking rip your knee apart, knowing that I will bash this motherfucker's brains in, that's like premeditated. And so I'm just like, I gotta get out of here. That's like when two alpha males meet, kind of thing. Like, one thinks he's an alpha male, but he really just is a psychopath or a fucking narcissist too. Like, the same thing with sociopaths. I think, like, those three things are probably like the most scary things in this country, because those three types of people, they don't have empathy. I think I would almost like say sociopaths are almost like covert narcissists. I think that's what my brother is. Until he gets emotional, though, and then, which is very rare. He's almost like dead inside, like shows zero emotion most of the time. And then when he does get emotional, the only emotion he does show is anger. So he has zero ability to be vulnerable. Wait, don't bite me. Oh. But yeah, it's just one of those things where, yeah, a cat tried to bite me. Like, don't do that. Why are you trying to bite me of all times? You all right? Oh, I think she's just getting old and cranky. Oh, normally you just wake up and meow and purr. But she's having a hard time breathing too, so I think that could be part of it. Gotta just be careful. I gotta, like, re-put this this fucking wheel thing back together so I can actually get it to go round and round, because I accidentally put it the wrong way. The little thing grooves are supposed to be facing inward. So I was like, dude, maybe I should read the directions or pay better attention. And I don't know. I think people need to be harder on themselves. Maybe not as hard on themselves as I am, because it's probably more toxic and destructive to a certain extent. But I think it's good to hold yourself to some level of accountability. The thing that pisses me off, though, is when people try to fucking play slick. Like, they're... Like, if you don't respond to somebody who's fucking giving you a mouthful, honestly, it tells me more about the person than... Honestly, people don't think that when they don't say anything, that it doesn't say a lot. And the biggest problem I'm having, too, with all this division is there's, like, people that they just want it all to go fucking get burned completely to the ground. I need a soft reset. That's what I fucking need. A soft fucking reset. Where you basically get rid of almost every fucking gun law in the book. Ugh. And then you fucking put a little line down. Maybe we'll call it shall not be infringed. And start over from there and be like, no, you can't. You're not even allowed to fucking even, like, approach us with the idea of fucking gun laws anymore. That's the point. That's the point where I'm getting. We're like, you guys have been so fucking stupid and irresponsible as far as government control and trying to police this crap. You've done a terrible bang up job. And you can't jail your way out of a fucking problem. It's a culture problem. Honestly, I think they think that. They think we probably can just fucking build 100 billion times more fucking jails. And then just turn that into a fucking business. I mean, it already is. There are private prisons. So. That's why Cyberpunk's a pretty good game from a philosophical standpoint. No one's saying that capitalism can't go wrong. That it doesn't favor the greedy. unselfish. Not to say that I'm a huge fan of socialism at all. I'm not. I'm getting to the point where I'm like against a lot of these regulations too, because how is it that you throw $4 billion down and you don't have a single track laid? And you're always bragging about being the fourth largest economy here in California, yet you want the federal government to foot your bill. I understand that you guys have a lot of people that pay federal income taxes, but for as much money as they're paying, we should have a lot more tunnel systems and like advanced technology at this point. Something happened at one point where like almost all innovation got fucking stifled. I mean, like in the 1980s and the 90s, like early 90s, I think that's when we peaked, late 80s to early 90s. And I think sometimes like people give Bill Clinton too much credit because of the surplus. Maybe he just took all that momentum we had on the upswing, taxed the dog shit out of it, created this revenue surplus, and then when that started to catch up, the economy slowed down. And I don't know. You know how many more like millions of gun sales you would have overnight too if you just legalized basically everything here in California? You'd be like this would be like the number one economy in the world. Hi. Okay, little kitten. Hope you're not crankier today. A little cranky. Oh. Well, I want to go for my ride. Shut up and stop bitching and moaning about shit I quite frankly have no control over either. That's one of the things I worried about with this whole Yuri Bezmenov thing. Was he talked about was it demoralization, and we're going through that right now here in America. The thing that sucks too is it affects both sides. Demoralization affects both sides. I think both sides feel that there is something seriously wrong in this country. It's kind of like V for Vendetta, but it's state and local government. It's the ideologies behind both of them. Like, how bad do you think things would get if you allowed us to be free in this country? I think the left would throw an absolute hissy fit in this country if we actually allowed our full-fledged Second Amendment rights, our full-fledged First Amendment rights, quite frankly. I don't like where our current government is going with this anti-gun Judge Jeanine Pirro bullshit. What a bunch of fucking morons. None of these people get it. Not Bondi, not her little fucking lesbian woman sidekick, whatever the fuck. I hate the fucking fact that none of these people ever fucking say, like, I support the Second Amendment. I have a gun. It's on me right now. Here it is. It's this, that, and the third. The model, make, why you like that gun. You can never elaborate beyond that because you people don't fundamentally really believe in the right, and you don't really. It's almost like a burden for a lot of you people, I think. Some people who actually carry guns still don't like the fact that they have to carry a gun. They just do it because they know it's a dangerous world, blah, blah, blah. I feel sorry for those folks. It's honestly an honor, a privilege, and it is a right to be able to have, like, good weaponry. I mean, almost like praise the Lord, hallelujah, for fucking having such nice stuff. I mean, that's kind of how I am a lot of the time when it comes to, like, where we're at as far as technology and whatnot. But as far as mentally, because of our technology, it has taken us as a human species and spread us thin. When you don't have as much, you have each other. You know, and people really don't. Most people don't know that. And if you've always not had a whole lot, like, those people tend to be the most salt of the earth and wise people, in my opinion. And they don't really tend to be political at all. It's all bullshit. None of these politicians want to help us, really. Honestly, that is my position. I think a lot of these people are happy to be in a country like this. They want to be a part of the process, and then they think that maybe they have a good idea here and there, and that they want to add to and never take away from the government, which just kind of pisses me off too. It's like some of the stuff that we've gotten so wrong and so bad, I feel like just have to go away. And it's getting to that point where people, I mean, I believe when I hear people online saying, like, it's going to go away one way or the other. And the other is the worst way it could possibly go, because that not only could it be prolonged, but it could fundamentally break and destroy this country to the point where it's unrecognizable and will never be the same ever again, because it will all be recorded. It'll all be uploaded online. We'll all know what we did to each other. That's what scares the shit out of me about the most of this, is that I have to figure out how to get back to my daughter, so if shit does hit the fan, I'm in a position to where I can actually get to my daughter and keep her safe. And if my ex wants to come for the ride, she can join Beta Cuck and sit in the back. But, yeah, I'm not gonna... I don't want to be in a situation where I'm, like, begging for my goddamn life, or having to be at the whims of another person because I decided not to, almost like a lion that fucking took its own teeth because it didn't want to make the local, maybe this is like a narcissistic lion that thought it was special and became a vegetarian. I don't fucking know, for the analogy's sake. But when you go against your nature, I feel like you're, like, people don't have any relationship with their primal nature. I feel like that's pretty fucking sad. Well, I think I'm gonna go for a ride. I was thinking about taking some pre-workout and going to the gym here in a bit. But yeah, we'll see. I got a lot on my goddamn mind. I wonder, things just weren't like this when I was growing up. There wasn't a single fucking trans person in my school. But then when this stuff becomes trendy, I guarantee you, if I go back to fucking my old high school, and I bet you there's people in my grade and maybe a year younger, a year older that I knew that probably transitioned by now. And I bet you it was all, you know what I mean? It's like one of those things that are sold to people too. Like, I don't think people fundamentally like who they are. That's why they become lesbian, like a butch lesbian, or they become like a feminine man, or you know what I mean? It's about changing what you fundamentally are as a human being. And I think if you keep doing that, you're gonna fuck your shit up. Not like anything really matters in the grand scheme of things. We're just all biological organisms going through this life, part of the mammal species, and evolution got us here, not God. And a lot of fucking luck. A lot of fucking luck. And why can't that be good enough? Why can't we just be super fucking lucky to be here? And I think it's because we can't imagine dying. I mean, I can't imagine what it's like dying, if anybody's ever thought about it. Generally, when you think about dying, you just think of everything going black or dark, but even that wouldn't make sense because you wouldn't be conscious of it. So, I don't know. I do have a morbid curiosity, though, about what if there is anything on the other side, if that makes any sense, if there is another side. You sometimes wonder if, like, you know, it's almost like you want to believe in heaven too, because if you don't believe everything that all your family believes too, like, you're not going to go to heaven. You'll never see your fucking grandma again or none of that kind of shit. And yeah, it's just a sad thought. Like, because I fucking chose to be free, really, and not put some kind of paranoid schizophrenic nonsense over my head, I'm going to be punished for it. Basically, I robbed myself of my intellectual curiosity because I have to believe in some crap that I just generally don't believe in. And I think it's because I haven't met a person who is a true believer in real life that isn't full of shit, that doesn't lie, that doesn't fucking... I mean, my whole thing is, too, is if you're willing to believe some bullshit, you're willing to believe almost all bullshit. And the thing is, too, is, like, a lot of people that are Christian, it's just the flag that they fly. But they don't claim that it's any better or worse than any other religion. Or, if anything, they actually claim to be a Christian, but just shit on their own religion, really. Which I don't know. I don't really understand this whole, like, white guilt or white hate yourself shit either. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. I think tribalism is just dumb. It's fucking mouth breather shit. Sorry, it just is. If you think that tribalism is the answer, like, honestly, that's probably the reason for most of our fucking problems. Democrat tribe, Republican tribe, woman tribe, men tribe, black tribe, white tribe. Fucking actual tribes. You know, my team, your team. I mean, people literally beat the fuck out of each other and cause health problems over football games. Why is it that people like in Philadelphia are known for being especially terrible human beings, like after games and whatnot? And I think it's mostly because the typical working class man probably hates their fucking life. The typical working class man can only look forward to their wants and needs, I suppose, too. And that's kind of what America has become for a lot of people, too. It's just for whatever every single selfish, narcissistic person wants or need, they can have. And there is no real sense of a community. These are just words that we use to manipulate people now. In my opinion, the only real community left is the homeless community. When I was homeless in San Diego, I can tell you right now, it was so much easier to get help from homeless people than the typical person in San Francisco. I can't tell you how many times I ever went to like a homeless person's tent and asked for a bottle of water, and they like immediately went to go out, try to find a water in their own little area, or they knew someone who had some that probably wouldn't mind giving some water up or had extra bottles. Stuff like that. I mean, that's literally the only examples I have, because that's the only thing I ever really asked for anytime I was out there, because most of the time I had my shit together and I had everything I needed at all times. But, you know, it's like anything, when it's hot and you got water for you and for your dog, you run out. And not every place, not every 7-Eleven's friendly, not every gas station's friendly, not every McDonald's, etc., etc., etc. is just going to let you go fill up on water. So, that's just one example. And then obviously you have like local communities, but I don't know. I don't think most people know their fucking neighbor by their first name, much less their last name these days. It's just a different time now. And everybody, I think people are more, I mean, as much as people complain about the money and everything else, it's actually pretty cheap to move around. Like, if you got a couple of grand saved up and you have a couple of vehicles, you can pick up, move, and get into a place probably. Whether it be renting out a room, renting from somebody, friends, family, it's always cheaper to do it that way too. Or just finding a roommate. I mean, yeah, nowadays everybody can pretty much pick up and move and start your life over at any point. The problem though is that most people aren't going to just pick a spot on the map and do that. Like most of the time they're going to be like, the reason why I'm going to California is because my daughter's here and the weather's really nice. Certainly not fucking moving here because of the government, the high taxes. And I think that's another thing that pisses me off about like the government goons that work for any state really, is like, I don't think they understand that like literally none of them make their states great. None of these politicians make their state great. I've never met any politician that has ever made any of their states great. That is not how it works. The only people that are making that state great are the fucking people that are working and basically creating any type of jobs, any type of expansion, because the only thing government can do is steal from others to expand. And it's usually just to expand the government. It's not usually to expand something that's going to be profitable, that's going to have exponentially, like that, going to actually benefit society. That's why this whole high-speed rail thing is kind of just almost a joke to me. If you almost handed this over to the private sector and let them turn it into a toll road for however many years in the contract to pay for all the costs, I guarantee you would have like super highways and shit like that here pretty soon. Especially if you could actually crowdfund the shit. And if you created permanent tollways that were super fucking fast though, like Autobahn tollways, I guarantee you there would be people that would want to crowdfund that, and you get a piece of the action there. Anybody who's using it, like if anybody who invested in that can get a piece of the toll money later, a chunk of it if you invested enough, like who knows, that would be a good idea maybe, I don't fucking know. But that's like profit sharing. That's not really, that's agreed to. There's a difference between socialism and the thing is that you have to coerce people and get everybody on board. That is actually the biggest problem. And the thing that makes me fucking upset about that too is like they get all mad about the nationalists because they worry about large groups of people banding together against the government or whatever. But then as soon as they lose an election, they're like literally trying to push, dumbass libtards again, like to basically fight the government almost. And these guys are all like ignorant pussies that have no clue about war. Just don't really know what they're doing. They don't know what they're asking for. They don't know what they're trying to bring on. They don't know what road they're going down. And quite frankly, I don't think most of them really care. I think they just want to yell and scream at something. And I've felt like that before. That doesn't mean I'm going to go out in the world and look for someone to yell and scream at. That just seems kind of stupid to me. But anyways, I could fucking go on and on all day about this kind of stuff. It's one of those things that I'm not sure it's going to get fixed anytime soon. I mean, there's no fixing any of this stuff. It's the human condition. So, that's the thing that's so great about dogs. Cats, not so much. But dogs, you can work with them. Like, even a dog that's, like, fucked up and not acting right, you can figure out why. And you can adjust your behavior to figure out how to work with this dog to get it back to normal. But with a lot of people, they're just not honest. If people were more honest, we'd have a lot less problems. We'd probably have even more problems because people don't like the honest solutions either. I mean, that's kind of what's going on with this whole fucking immigration debacle. And then the problem with this Epstein Island crap. It just seems like this guy never goes away. It seems like he's more alive today than ever. Isn't that kind of crazy to think about? Hold that sucker out. I don't know. It was sticking out, so I just fucking tugged it. So, I'm not gonna look at that right now. Ugh. I think I want to go grab a coffee. All right, that'll be a good one.